A negative inner voice has three main benefits. It serves to protect you from immediate hurt or harm, it alerts you to a potential risk or threat, and it helps you to avoid making a mistake. By bringing careful attention to these matters, a negative inner voice can guide you to react decisively and effectively, take extra precautions, and evaluate situations more critically. For some personality types, a negative inner voice works as a motivational catalyst, pushing them to work harder and get it right the next time, eager to prove those negative whispers wrong. For other personality types, a negative inner voice serves more as an instructional catalyst, guiding them to process and release negative emotions so that these emotions don't get the better of them. But a negative inner voice can all too easily hinder development and enjoyment. For a negative inner voice to work, and work well, it can't be turned against yourself or others with broad sweeping statements that simply rehash or personalize, for example. A negative inner voice must be cultivated and calibrated with a certain level of precision to prevent it from doing serious damage to how we feel about ourselves and others. It helps to be aware of negative thoughts, and the emotions associated with them, so that they don't become ingrained in the personality. If you name them, you can tame them. So what are some of the more common types of negative inner talk? The field of cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, has categorized the most common types. Understanding them can provide lessons that can be learned to consciously reshape conversations inside the mind. Let's explore 7 of them with the INFP in mind. Emotional reasoning draws conclusions and makes assumptions from emotional reactions in spite of evidence to the contrary. Because humans are emotional creatures, these nuts are hard to crack. Example: I felt so inadequate the other day that I actually thought I was inadequate. While it's helpful to listen to a negative emotion, it's also wise to remember that, while I have an emotion, I am not that emotion. Feelings are not facts, and it's vital we learn to defuse fact from feeling. Because the INFP is so close to value and feeling, with introverted feeling in the lead position, followed by the lightning-fast speed of extroverted intuition, that lesson is likely the most important one of all. Personalizing follows from emotional reasoning. When I take it personally, I take an external event as a direct reflection of who I am and how I feel about myself. If the external event feels good, I might pat myself on the back, thinking I had a hand in bringing it about. But if the event doesn't feel so good, I might find a way to hold myself responsible. If the event feels really bad, I might assume that, if this can go wrong, anything can go wrong. Not only do I assume the worst possible outcome, I also exaggerate its effect so that I remember it forever. At such times, it's best to recall how close we are to our feelings and cut ourselves some slack. Emotional reasoning and making assumptions with no evidence sets the stage for becoming stuck. The INFP gets stuck when phi and psi go into a loop, and the INFP grapples with trying to harmonize a precedent with a core value. For INFPs, inner harmony is a core value. If someone is making them feel bad, and they don't know why, they would do well to wonder. Was it something I said or did? Did I cross a boundary? In a phi-psi loop, the INFP enters one of two conditions: 1. Rehashing, where the past is replayed in a negative, unproductive way, or 2. Rehearsing, where a future outcome is projected excessively. With rehashing, the INFP gets stuck in a loop of, what could I have said or done differently that kept the peace, and then, if only I had said this, or if only I had done that. This sort of thinking often persists until a new precedent is set, psi, to behave differently in the future, one that the core function phi feels is in keeping with the core value, like inner peace. With rehearsing, the INFP tries to imagine precedents for every possible outcome to be in harmony with one or more core values. These excesses are usually kept alive by aiming obsessively for a perfect fit. Some rehearsal is understandable, but when it becomes excessive, it can result in feelings of overwhelm fueled by anxiety, fear, doubt, worry, and/or dread, especially when the unexpected occurs. So what is the INFP to do to offset most if not all of these traps in thinking? It helps to review the material on emotional reasoning before taking up the practice of becoming a distant witness to personal experience. This meditative detachment will help discern facts from feelings. The point is not to become indifferent to feeling and experience, but to note those moments when it feels necessary to put distance between your interpretations of the facts and your feelings about them. It helps to review the material on personalizing before crystallizing realizations that, 1. Not everything that someone says or does is about me, and 2. Not everything that happens is about me alone. It also helps to become aware of two other distortions in thinking that undermine confidence. The first has been called all-or-nothing thinking. This is the tendency to see everything in black and white terms. Everything is either 100% good or 100% bad, with no shades of gray in between. With this kind of thinking, no compromise is possible, life loses its color, nuances are dismissed in favor of absolute certainty. The second distortion has been called filtering or discounting. This is remembering the one thing that went wrong while forgetting the 10 other things that went right. When I filter experience in this way, I discount the positives while I focus on that one negative. For the INFP, this is phi and psi gone awry, and does not bode well for feeling lovable and capable. It really helps to come to terms with emotional reasoning and personalizing.